alienARMy. I am Oculus, the alien next door, purveyor of esoteric lore, and on this channel we discuss everything out of this world. So today's topic, we are going to be talking about how to manifest at peak laziness. When I am talking about manifesting the lazy way, that is really what I mean, because I am probably the laziest motherfucker around, and I'm cool with it. So if you're lazy, do you, boo-boo, but know that you can still get what you want whilst remaining lazy. So when I'm talking about lazy, I mean I am physically lazy. I put in work energetically, I put in work intellectually, I put in work emotionally. And these, in my opinion, are the deciding factors of how one's manifestation will come into form in the material realm. Now, it might seem like a paradox because I'm saying don't exert physical effort, still get what you want, but hear me out. Now, I'm sure you've heard this from a lot of other manifestation websites and manifestation coaches and anyone who's just basically into the metaphysical realm. They will always say, align your energy. The energy is the most important thing for a manifestation to be had, to be presented to you in condensed energy in the material realm. So what this is essentially saying is that your energetic frequency, which is your thoughts coupled with your emotions, which equal your vibration and equal your knowing, what's going on there is that when you feel something passionately and you think about it all the time, and then these two form the sacred marriage of knowing, what's going to happen is that the manifestation will be born of that, and there will not need to be a big circus sideshow of working hard and plowing along and trotting up the mountain and doing all of these tasks which seem rigorous or strenuous on the third dimensional plane. Now, what I mean by all of this is that you can be lazy physically. I've heard people say that in order to have your manifestation presented to you in the physical realm, you need to put in hard work as well as do the inner work with your thoughts and emotions. I disagree with that because I personally have manifested things out of thin air without lifting a motherfucking finger. And I know you have too. Just the fact that you're watching this video, I know you have to. So why is that? Why do some people speak so enamorously about putting in the work about putting in the physical work after you've done the mental work, after you've done the emotional work, after you've raised your vibrations? Here's the answer, folks. It's a story that they have going on within themselves. It is their own personal program. Now, take it from me. I have not one earth sign, okay? Why is this relevant? Well, I believe in astrology. I believe in the law of attraction. That's another taboo for you, but hey, I don't discriminate. I believe in what resonates with me. So when someone has a story that they have to put in hard physical labor in the third dimensional plane after they've done their inner work, taming their thoughts, taming their emotions, allowing their vibration to be lifted to its natural heightened state, they already have a pre-programming saying that, well, you have to exert this effort in the physical realm. And guess what? That is going to turn out to be true for them. It does not mean that it has to turn out true for you. And it most certainly does not mean that it is true for you. It definitely is not true for me. And the reason why I mentioned my astrological placements, for those of you that are into astrology, is that I have no earth signs. So I just naturally, in my natural set point, I do not need validation from the physical realm domain that my desire is being brought to me, that is being presented to me. And this is not to say that earth signs, earth placements don't manifest easily. It's just for me personally, I have never had that mentality where you have to put in work and logically come to a physical conclusion, a deduction of, well, if I send out my resume physically to 10 places, one of them is sure to call me back. I have just never had that issue. So this is not to say that I'm blowing myself that I'm a master manifester because I have no earth signs. I'm simply stating it because I have noticed that individuals that have earth placements, which is like, I mean, I've never met anyone that didn't have any earth signs aside from me, so holla if that's you too. So when someone is looking at something logically in that sense, and I don't mean air logic where it's like their thoughts are like incongruence, like, okay, well, this is something that I'm observing and I am seeing it and it resonates with my thoughts. I'm talking about someone who wants to know why their thoughts are making sense to them. This is someone who wants to go through the mathematical equation of how their thoughts came to be. And that's the difference between air placements and earth placements. They're both using logic, they're both using intellect, but in a different way. Air, in their intellectual intelligence, is not necessarily searching for the how of it coming to be. It's just sort of saying, well, this is a fact and that's a fact and that's what it is. They're leaving it alone, okay? And someone with a lot of earth, because earth, remember, we're building from the ground up, we're building physical, tangible things. They want to see proof in front of their face why this is X and this is Z. That is the difference, at least from what I've noticed in the many charts that I've read and in individuals that I know in my personal life. So with that being said, a lot of people who are talking about the law of attraction and they're talking about manifestation, and I'm not saying all, but there are a lot that I have noticed, they are in congruence with, okay, yes, you do have to put in work emotionally, you do have to put in work intellectually so that your vibration can be risen. You do have to have that fire energy, you have to have that passion about creating a change in your third dimensional realm. But because, and this is my opinion, because they have earth placements, it occurs to them as well that they must put in work in their physical environment. And this is why they'll say, well, get everything in alignment, line up the energy, and then send out your resume. I'm just using that as one example. There are plenty other of examples. If you want a partner, you must do the work and put yourself on a dating app or something along those lines, okay? So yes, those can be great, but the purpose of this video that I want to convey is that that is absolutely not the be all and end all of manifestation, because I have manifested things sitting in my fucking jammies, in my fucking house, sipping tea, online, Netflix in the background, looking at YouTube videos while I'm playing music in my headphones, okay? Boom, I think of something, it arrives. Now, this does not happen all of the time, and this will typically not happen if someone has an ongoing paradigm or a block in the area of something they're trying to manifest. But if there is absolutely no resistance, even if it's something that one might perceive as being unattainable without exerting physical effort, not true. Because I've manifested, pick a topic, any topic, I have manifested all of those things, the whole scope of this plethora of abundant possibilities, whilst not putting in physical effort. And in my view, because to know the other, one must study themselves, right? So for me to talk about manifestation in a way where it makes sense to me to help others out, I have to study my own manifestation techniques. So I bypass simply the having to know the steps of logic physically, how things are going to take form. I don't have that, okay? So, and this is true for anyone. Let's say you have no water, let's say you have no air, let's say you have no fire. This is gonna ring true for anyone that is essentially missing an element in their natal chart. It's just that area is not going to occur to them. And it's not that it's missing, it's just that they're not aware of it, right? Before cell phones were invented, did people miss having a cell phone? Absolutely not, because they weren't aware that that possibility could even potentially exist. So this is for everyone that has earth placements. And listen, I get along really well with earth signs. Like, y'all are fucking awesome, just saying. But you know, probably because we're so different, like we just mesh, right? Earth signs are fucking pimp. So me not having that need or that want or that desire to understand the steps physically that the manifestation is going to take place, I bypass that and I manifest things while sitting in my fucking PJs. No joke. So this is how to do that, especially if you want structure and order of how your manifestations are going to take place. You are going to let go, relax, trust the universe, and if you need to add a little bit of logic there, the thing that you can bring on board with your inner vibration is to say, now if you're interested in manifestation, things like that, I'm just gonna go out on a limb here and assume that you believe in metaphysics and things like that. Like you're already, you know that your thoughts are really just condensed and coagulated energy. The same for your feelings, right? So if you want to add that bit of logic in there and you want to trust the universe, all you need to do is drop the programming that you might have within you that leads you to believe that manifestation takes hard, physical, strenuous work, because it does not. All you need to do is allow, and all you need to do is drop that programming. And how you drop the programming, especially if you're logic driven in that sort of like procedure mode, what you can do is recognize that your thoughts and emotions are simply energetic forms, and they are vibrating at a 5th dimensional level and above. And the closer that your thoughts and feelings are in alignment with what you want, the slower they are going to condense and come down via the avenue of the 4th dimensional plane, and then finally the 3rd dimensional plane. So if you want to look at it in logical steps, we can look at 5D and above, where there's just isness. Then we look at 4D, which sometimes might try to trip up the 5D manifestation via a 3rd dimensional pathway, such as this block that I'm talking about, because 4D will somewhat whisper, well, you don't know exactly how it's going to happen, so how do you know it's going to happen at all, right? So it's important to focus on knowing that the vibration of your being, of your knowingness, that what you want already exists. Right now, it's going through steps, it's going through phases, and it's going to present itself to you in the 3rd dimensional plane in a way which is magical and unexpected for you, as well as it will appear when you are not looking for it, when you are not actively looking for it. Because when someone is actively searching for something, they are pushing their energy forward. So logically, if we want to think of a magnet, if you're pushing energy forward and there's the same end of the magnet, what's going to happen? It's going to repel it, right? Because it's actively pushing that forward. They're both now actively pushing against each other. Whereas if you let go, if you drop the story of the how and you just know it to be true, then what's going to happen is that now you are not going to be magnetized against what you want. So now essentially, because you're not actively looking for it, you are going to be in a state of the opposite end of the pole, because you've already dropped it. You've said, okay, I know this is here, whatever, it's showing itself to me, and you know, that's not my job to wonder why. Now you are going to be dropping your charge of actively looking for it and then that thing is going to whoosh, attract to you like moths to a flame. And this is because now that thing is charged up because you've turned away that opposing axis of the magnet, and so now that thing is drawn to the opposite end where you're not searching for it, you just know. So it gravitates into your experience immediately. Have you ever seen a magnet stick to a refrigerator? It's like whoosh, boom, it's like, ooh, can't stay away from each other, right? So that's going to be when you drop your charge, when you're not actively searching for it. The charge is dropped and now it can be easily magnetized to you. So it's all about the story that you are having within yourself. And if someone has a lot of earth placements, a lot of logical and analytical reasoning, which can be great in many areas, that can potentially trip up someone in their manifestation because they are now looking for a logical reason and the steps that manifestation needs to take in order to make itself shown in someone's third dimensional experience. So it's important to tell yourself logically that it is just a story, that you have to work hard and exert strenuous physical effort in order to manifest what you want, because your manifestation still will come true, but it's going to come true in the way that your story inside resonates with you. So anyone, earth sign, no earth sign, don't care, if they have a story that yes, I do the inner work, I get my thoughts in check, I get my emotions in check, my vibe is good, I'm feeling passionate about all of this shit, but they have a story saying, now I just have to go and send my resume to 20 different motherfuckers, I have to join 16 different dating apps and whatnot, right? So then sure, they're gonna get what they want, but after they send their resume out 20 times, after they join 16 different dating apps, when all they had to do was say, listen, this is my vibe, 3D is showing me what my previous vibration was, because remember, the 3D is old news. That's why third dimensional objects can get stale, they can get moldy, they can gather dust, because essentially when something is manifested in the 3D, it's already old news, which is why it can gather dust and why it can become moldy or crusty or what have you. So with the whole thing that I'm tying together with the earth placements, because 3D is essentially grounded, right? It's like physical matter. This is very important to drop that earth sign logic, which is very beneficial, okay? Just not in this context. And if you want to continue with your story that there needs to be a logical reason and steps shown to you how the manifestation is going to take forth in your third dimensional plane, you still are going to get what you want, but it's going to take longer, because remember, even in tarot, the earth is the slowest moving element. So if you want to continuously look for the hows and the whys and the calculations and the equations of how your manifestation is going to take shape physically on the 3D plane, it's going to take a lot longer, because now, because that's your belief system, the universe is mirroring back that to you. The universe is reflecting that back to you, which you expect to see. So if you expect to see hard physical effort yielding results in the third dimensional plane, then that's what's going to happen. Whereas if you drop that story and you take into consideration that it already exists, all it's doing is slowing down. And it's like, even if you want to go with like molasses, right? Molasses is smooth, it's slow, it's like sensual. You can even look at that if you want to use some logic with all of this. You can also use the magnet example, where once I drop my charge of consciously pushing out energy, trying to achieve this, the magnetized part of me will be null and void, and then my opposite pole will be presented to the universe in my desire of, it already is, I don't need to draw forth anything to me because it already is. Boom, you've changed the access point where now you're on the other end of the spectrum from actively pursuing and you're just chilling. So what you desired is now going to be the active chaser or aggressor, and it's going to pursue you. So this was just a little tidbit. I don't know what this video is going to be called yet because I have no earth signs, so I don't know until the moment that I know. All right guys, we will chit chat again soon.